Greetings, lovely Geminis out there. This is your reading for this new moon in Scorpio, 4th and 5th of November. It's the 5th today here. I started these readings yesterday. Of course, the new moon, we've been planting our seeds, ideally, if we work with these moon cycles. But there's a lot of sort of quite heavy stuff astrologically going on throughout November. And one thing, if you are interested in astrology, one great podcast to check out is the Astrology Podcast with Chris Brennan. It's really, really interesting. So we've got your cards out, Gemini. We'll go through and clarify. We're looking at overarching energies at this time. Remember, these are really general readings too, and check out if you're a cross watcher, check out as well your ascendant, moon, Venus and Jupiter, if you know what they are. Okay, so let's get into it. This is for you, Gemini. This is your reading. Overarching energies at this current time. We see a new moon in this card of the Two of Swords. A decision is sort of in the process of being made at this current time, or there's some decision-making process underway. We see, if you can see that up the top, we have a new moon being pierced by a sword here. There's all moon cycles, planetary cycles, reverberate as a sort of continuum, don't they? So, being in Scorpio season as well, we are sort of digging deep here, dealing with some pretty meaty sort of things, I think. I mean, globally, we all know we're all experiencing a similar experience with what's going on in various parts of the world. So anyway, I don't know why I'm started talking about that. Two of Swords is a sort of decision that's in the process, as I said, have been made, and it is something whereby we're being guided here, really. This is quite an intuitive decision. We don't just have one sword of everything being quite clear and clear cut. We have two, but we're making our choices, Gemini, at this time based on our intuitive connection, our intuitive guidance system, which can be enhanced through various practices. Meditation is one of them, but many other things. Even simply walking in nature and all that kind of thing. Anyway, so the overarching energies, things we feel, but we don't necessarily physically see. Our choices at this time are looking pretty damn good, because unless we're hiding our light under a bushel, the Six of Wands is a wonderful card of victory, really. Whether that's victory over some obstacles we implement for ourselves or have done in the past, or whether it is actually just a victory of achieving a goal or doing something or being seen to be of great service to others. This is a great card. It's a 6 on the tree of life. Incredible, balanced, beautiful, harmonious position with the Six of Wands. It really is what people do describe as sort of the winning card. So, in your position of choice, don't hide your light under a bushel, Gemini. That's what I get. Traits for ease. Well, we see a level of speed building up for you. As I said, we will go through and clarify, otherwise it's all very, very, very general. We have the Eight of Wands here. all the eights are very much about the mind. This is a card of communication via internet or basically just speed. The connections are firing. Possibly a great time at this new moon time to be, instead of overthinking or ruminating too much, to just act upon what it is that you're getting, these hits from. Okay, I'll do this now, I'll do that. Yeah. Ditch the sort of that very Geminian quality, I think, of rumination, being a Gemini myself. Great at doing that. So quick hits, a lot of speed around you. Make use of it at this time. And moving forward, we have what is, again, like the winning card. This is the Four of Discs. In the Thoth deck, it's called completion. It is the place where we feel safe. It is our home. It's like a homecoming. Maybe some Gemini out there is about to return to their home or whatever it is. But we will go through and clarify here. So it's looking pretty interesting. In some ways, I get the sense that if you just go with the flow that you feel is around you, that you're part of at the moment, just go with it. You can't lose anything here. You just go with it. Like, you've got everything to gain, Gemini. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. But anyway, let's have a look at the Two of Swords. Let's have a look at the Two of Swords. Wow, we've got far too many there. Two of Swords. Yeah, it's trying times. We're nearing towards the end of the year, isn't it? And look, there's just so much kind of hoo-ha going on. Anyway, Two of Swords for Gemini, please. Can we have some clarity? Can we? We're getting way too many piles. Oh, what's that? Piles of cards coming out. Now, this little dude somehow got flipped around in the deck, the Knight of Cups. Maybe it's on a very basic literal level. Maybe it's an offering coming through, an emotional offering coming through quite quickly that you're deliberating over, or just taking time to make a decision upon. But let's just get more clarity for this too. Gemini. We get very Gemini card here, Mercury. Thoth, Chahuti, messenger of the gods, of course. As I said, you can't really do a hell of a lot wrong at this point in time, remembering that speed is your friend. Speed is your friend. You can't make a wrong decision here. I mean, you just can't. It's quite clear, whether this is about some kind of romantic situation or whatever it's about. You can't really make a wrong decision. It may well just be a kind of timing thing. I get a sense of that. I get a sense that it is more of a timing scenario here. Let's look at what your choices are. As I say, that the Four of Swords, maybe there's a bit of a resting time that needs to take place. We're just looking at the Six of Wands. in the position of choice for Gemini at this time, which is a great victorious card. Seen to be by others. We get the star coming out, healing. I think this has been done. I think there's been a great period of time leading up to this point where in fact you've done a lot of that. You've done a lot of reviewing. I mean, you've done not so much reviewing, but you've done quite a fair amount of personal work, personal healing. I do get a sense for some particular person possibly out there that, and this is quite specific, that it has been in relation to some sort of relationship, like in terms of, you know, a love relationship that you've been processing, or either processing, healing from, or healing through. It's quite strong. The Six of Wands, choices. I want one more card, please, if I can. This victory, because it's as if it's something that other people see. It's not something that that's going on in private. It's something that other people see. Look, what it is actually is there's a change. There has been a change in you, Gemini, for someone out there. To clarify that, Six of Wands, be seen to be victorious. You've actually been victorious over yourself as much as anything else here. We have the Two of Wands, being very much aware of your domain and your authority in your own life and what resources you have in front of you and how you use those resources. We're seeing it in the way that the Magician will interact with the Two of Swords as well, beyond romantic affiliations or healing, self-healing, whatever. Self-healing has already occurred in my mind here. That's why the Magician can interact with the Two of Swords. This is big hit intuitive stuff, and we see it in the Eight of Wands. Traits for ease is really just going with those intuitive hits that you're getting, actually, because your choices here, there's been prior work done, personal work. You see your strength, your abilities, your domain here. In order to see it, you've had to ditch the 8. Another 8, another mind card, the 8 of Swords, simply, purely, honestly, just about self-limitation. The limitations that you put on yourself, it's not coming from anyone else, any other structure, any kind of other scenario. It's what you inflict upon yourself. These are self-limitations which you've overcome. I do see that, and other people see it, Gemini. Other people see it here. So let's just have a wee look. Oh my God, at the 8. Oh, look, this happens sometimes, you know. We get, all right, so we're looking at the 8 of Wands. We get the 8 of Wands. This is all about speed. Get in with that speed, because I think things are going to, if they haven't sped up already, or that you're not going with the flow of that, don't fight it, go with it. Because you can't make a, like this, it's not about right or wrong here. It's about just going with your own flow, going with your gut, going with your intuition. So we get the 8 of Wands twice. Gemini, in the position of traits for ease, go with the speed. Traits for ease. Just one more card for those two. 8 of Wands. Just one more, please. Yeah. This is about self-love as much as anything else. That's why you've managed to overcome these limitations here, to see really what it is that you have under your fingertips, under your control, if you want to use the control word. It's more a domain, it's your dominion here. It's yourself. Sovereignty, actually, with everyone's using the word sovereignty these days. Not just Indigenous people, but white middle class people are using the word sovereignty. Anyway, look, I'm not, I don't have any judgment here, but yeah, our own personal sovereignty, very important. So I digress, sorry. So, you've overcome this. You've overcome your own limitations here with these 2 8 of Wands. Now, we don't always get the same cards coming out. Traits for ease, speed, communication is the key here. Communicazione. We have 9 of Wands, habitual defense, habitual patterns of behavior, whatever they happen to be, whatever your archetypal sort of patterning is, it is quite good to venture into that zone and just have attempt to have a very impersonal look at what your archetypes are and how they've played out in your life thus far. I think you've probably done this, Gemini, or I think you've done it in whatever way that has allowed you to overcome to a level whereby we have a gift. We have a gift coming through with the Ace of Cups. I love this Ace of Cups. It's a beautiful card. So ditch the sort of defensive mechanisms of old. It allows us to receive a lot more. And because of that, we actually see it, what is on offer here. We give this form. So it's kind of interesting where we see this offering with the Knight. I do feel that's a past, though it may still be relevant, but I do feel that has been in the past, this sort of 4 of Swords healing, Knight of Cups, an offering, maybe an offering that you didn't see at a certain time. And there was another reading here that it was something like, the more you focus on your own, don't get kind of tangled up in all the peripheral shit fights that are going on at the moment. The more that you focus on going with your own internal sort of intuitive self, it's as if it attracts something to you. I'm not sure what, why, how, where. There was another reading that was quite similar, actually, that the faster you kind of moved along your own sort of intuitive train track, it acts like a magnet to other people, certainly in the areas of emotional wealth for yourself, for others. Anyway, so interesting. 4 of Wands for Gemini as we move forward. Moving forward for Gemini. All the speed. Excuse me. There's all the speed in this reading. There's something actually that occurs when you make a decision, if you've already made a decision, there's something that occurs that really propels you forward. Yeah. A new sense of confidence, I feel. Just one more card. We get one more card for the Four of Wands. The card that flew out moving forward. We have the Judgment card flew out initially. Now, Judgment is an interesting card. All birds come to roost. What is it? We all come to roost. What is it? Something like that. I don't know why I can't think of that. It's an old term, isn't it? All birds come to roost. Judgment, we see past, present, future conjoin all at once. When we understand that a sort of homecoming or central place of belonging really is an internal state, but you can't deny the need for a physical home. You know what I mean? Like, that is really important. A place to be with people around you. A place to be. Anyway, I'm getting a bit lost, Gemini. With Judgment for the beautiful Four of Wands, it is a comfortable place. It's familiar. And yeah, it's important. It's important internally as much as it is in a physical sense. With that, but there are other things, there are always other things that can just for periods of time take us away from that, depending on what we feel we need to be doing. With that, we get another four, the Four of Discs. It's a wonderful, strong card, the Four of Discs. The issue with it is we see the figure, all the main organs sort of in some ways are covered up, holding those coins close. There is a tendency to hold on to something, to some situation, to people, to things, for longer than what is required here. I do get that. It's as if in this reading that there's one chapter started quite a long time ago. And at the moment we're just going with this. We really have to just go with our own flow, if you know what I mean, and don't overthink anything. If you can, prevent that. Just don't. Because it's as if when we get to that fourth position, that a new chapter is starting to open up. It's like the nut is just cracked enough to be able to see what's inside. Actually, for some reason, it's quite odd. And the other card that came out with this is the Lovers, Is the Lovers. Natural law is something that I just get. Natural law. The Lovers is all about choice, and as much as choice, and as much in a literal sense as someone like a lover, but also an integration and assimilation of dualities. It is the Gemini card. So, it's kind of like moving away from the idea that something's either right or wrong. Because this is the whole narrative at the moment, isn't it? This is right, this is wrong. In relation to all sorts of things, right or wrong. As opposed to, well, there is a wide area of available discussion, and there's also a consideration that people have their own idea of what is right for them. So it's difficult, isn't it? Anyway, look, this is looking pretty favourable. But I do see that in this, as we get to moving forward, that it feels to me like there's a whole other story just about to begin for you, Gemini, here. But you know what? You're kind of, and I use the word armed. You're armed with this gift of the Ace, which would not be appearing. This is a reading of dualities, actually, because this would not be appearing as a gift to you if you hadn't understood your own Nine of Wands, your own defensive, your own habitual patterns of behaviour. You wouldn't see your domain, your dominion, your authority, sovereignty, all of that, if you hadn't understood your own cruel ability to completely undermine and limit yourself, you know. So this it's interesting. It's full of what is in fact, you know, the dualities, the dual nature of Gemini. Okay, let's get a interesting. Let's get a Brian Froud Pixie and Fairy card. Just have a wee look here. Oh, Geminis. We get the Oak. Well, we get a few things coming up. We get the Oak Men. Yeah, this is about your own. I mean, as much as if it could be, you know, looked at as these sort of physical, tangible experiences, understandings going on for you, have gone on, are going on, will go on for you. If it's as much about that as it is about sort of amalgamating the dual nature that is you, Gemini. So that's quite an achievement. I mean, you know, and it may well be a work in progress. It may well be a lifelong work in progress, but at least we venture forward on that path. Being a Gemini myself. So, Pixie and Fairies, we get the Oak Men. This is about history, wisdom, communication via the networks, the cables, the channels. In fact, with the Oak Men through the root system. Great wisdom here. Communication here. Through the internet, the roots system of trees. Here we harness that intuitive ability as well, you know. We have unity. Yeah. Amalgamation, integration into this great solid ball of light, which is then able to, we consolidate, you know, then we're able to feel a sense of wholeness, I guess. But with that, we get the old gnome, which is the magician as well. So we get the magician technically twice. Gemini. So it's all kind of interesting. It's like there's been a lot of lessons, and I have been getting this for a lot of the readings at this new moon in Scorpio. There's been a lot of, if you want to look at it like karmic lessons learnt, or been in the process of being learnt to the point where we're actually operating in the upper world here, in this physical world, in a slightly different way. And I think this is sort of on an individual level as much as a collective level. So it's really interesting. So we'll get Gemini, we'll get a Journey Map deck card from the Journey Map and a lovely animal spirit card from Kim Kranz. I love that deck. So Journey Map, what can you, just as a last sort of cherry on the proverbial cake. On the proverbial cake, we get faith coming out. Now, this is just totally relevant here because, look, don't lose faith. Look, faith is all about, this card is all about recognizing that we all walk in pathways of light. We all walk in pathways of light. So we foster faith and we recognize that light that animates all of us, and that is life force, and therefore we are all connected in this thing called life, And once we do this, we understand, we can approach people, we can meet up with people, we can relate to people without being, defensive, 9 of Wands, full of just sort of ego patter. We meet people on equal ground when we understand this idea that we are all activated by the same light. We're all animated by life force. It gives us faith when we can relate to people without defense and without sort of these, it's ideal, without these patterns of behaviour that we use robotically, our scripts that we use robotically. Yeah, we can change our scripts. We can change our narrative, Gemini. So it's all pretty special. And that is what you've been doing. You've been overcoming various things. So it's pretty amazing. Let's get a Kim Kranz card for Gemini, please. Talk about dual natures, dualities going on here. And I think this is sort of quite interesting. We get the beautiful deer. Isn't that just gorgeous? Bambi. We get this beautiful deer, and we also get the hawk. I love this because speaking of duality, we get this beautiful, gentle deer. Very much aware of movement, of smell, hears every tiny little breaking of a twig in the bush or the forest. This delicate, uber sensory creature. And then we have the hawk with this incredible vision, incredible speed. It's like we've been blessed by these two wonderful animals at this time, Gemini. To have the accuracy of the hawk, the acute sensory abilities of the deer all at once. A very gentle one puts that label on a deer, doesn't one? Very gentle animal, more reptilian when we see the hawk. Less of the gentle. We're not, confused about that. So it's all very, very interesting. Did I get a journey map card? Oh, yes, I did. So that looks like that's that. So thanks for joining me. Thank you very much, Geminis, for joining me today. And we'll be back, obviously, again there is a partial lunar eclipse on the 19th of November in Taurus. the full moon, partial lunar eclipse. So we'll see you again for that, hopefully. And do take care. As I said, check out your other signs. And thanks for joining me today. Hope you got something out of it. Cheers for that. Bye. Toodle.